Hey guys, Dr. Taylor here, and welcome back to my holiday series on my tips and tricks to get you through the holiday season. This one's about food. There's so many food options during the holiday season, and it's really hard to make good choices sometimes. I get it. So, we're going to have a whole thing about maybe making better choices in a second. But first, I want to tell you about how to digest some of the things that you do. Especially if you're on gluten, or you have to be gluten free, then there's a product called Glutenza or Gluten Flam. There are two different products, and either one of those are really fantastic to help you absorb and digest some of the gluten if you do eat it. So I highly recommend those as emergency options, but that's kind of a little niche because if you're not gluten free, then it doesn't super apply to you. There are also some dairy digestive enzymes that might be helpful. So highly recommend that we look at those if you need them. Anyways, for most people, there are three products that I would generally recommend based on what your body is doing. So these are my favorite three to get you through the holiday season. Zypan. Zypan is a fantastic, just general digestive enzyme, and you might need some help digesting all of that food. And it is one of my favorites. It's by Standard Process. Most people test really, really well on it, which is part of why I like it so much. But it is such an easy thing to take. You can take, it says 2 on here, but it just depends on what you're trying to digest. I usually take this for me because I'm gluten free. So specifically when I think I've been glutened or something like that, I will usually take it by 4 or 5 of them at a time. But that's because my system is trying to digest something that I can't eat well, which for the record, I didn't eat the gluten. I got contaminated. It's not an excuse to eat it, right? 2 of these should do pretty good on the regular, but like I said, if it's having a really hard time, you can take a few safely. Another one of my favorites is going to be betaine hydrochloride, also by Standard Process. The reason is because this is stomach acid, basically. So if you have trouble digesting protein or you get lots of acid reflux and whatnot, that's a whole conversation, but basically it's due to low stomach acid. I know it's kind of an oxymoron, definitely something we need to have a conversation about, but it's usually due to low stomach acid. So if you put in more stomach acid, then we can digest the food. So I really like it for those things. It can be problematic for some people, especially if you already have stomach ulcers and stomach upset. It can be difficult to slowly raise your HCl in your stomach. But aside from that, or if we can get you to a point where you comfortably have enough stomach acid, then not only will you be able to digest food better, you won't have some of that reflux, and it won't hurt your stomach as you're taking it. And you're much less likely to get ulcers and stuff. Highly recommend that, especially if I'm going to have a lot of heavy protein type meal. It's definitely helpful. And my last one with it is Beta-Col. Sometimes I mix this or I swap this with Cholecol, also from Standard Process, both of them. They are to help you digest fat. So we have one, the Zypan, which kind of digests everything, but also aims at carbs. The betaine hydrochloride, which is for protein, and then one for fat, Beta-Col or Cholecol. So I personally don't have a gallbladder. And that means that I have trouble digesting fats as a result. I mean, you can still digest it with your liver, but it sometimes needs support. So taking these kinds of bile salts can help you digest your fats better when you don't, especially if you don't have a gallbladder, or if you're having trouble with your gallbladder, or really just in general. Beta-Col, Beta-Col and Cholecol are very, very similar. One kind of supports the liver more, and one supports, the gallbladder or the lack of gallbladder more. I kind of end up going back and forth to see which ones works for me that day, usually with muscle testing or whatnot. So if you're having a really heavy, hard to digest meal, I would take one of all of them because there's, all of those things in most of those meals that we have on the holidays. So those are some of my favorite tips and tricks for that. Definitely good options. You can get Standard Process. They have their own store on Amazon, which is really nice because you want to go with a store that you can trust, right? A brand that you can trust, and they sell it by themselves. So that's fantastic. Or you can get it, of course, from the office, but definitely something I would keep on hand to get through the holiday season. Hopefully that helps. Stay tuned for my next tips and tricks because I got a few more up my sleeve. Thanks, guys.